Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Elite City Podcast. It's the two-man operation today, the OGs. So what's up, sir? How are you?
I'm good. Had a good week. Lots of big stuff in wrestling this week.
Yes.
We moved
Yeah.
our podcast one day just because we're busy. And it's a good thing we did because everything happened yesterday. So
Yes, it was all planned, all part of the plan.
yes, we did this on purpose.
And just a heads up, if you hear a motor, it's snowing here, and the snowplow comes right past my house, and you're probably going to hear it. So,
Well, there you go.
Yeah, just a heads up. But yeah, it was a heck of a week. Right now is a heck of a time to be a fan. No matter what you watch. I mean, TNA's bumping, WWE's bumping, and AEW seems to have really hit its stride here. And this week proved it. It was all around a fantastic week, and we still have Collision tomorrow.
Yeah, there's honestly not enough time to watch all the good wrestling that's on right now. I haven't seen it, but you watch it. I've heard ROH has been really good recently.
Oh yeah.
There's TNA. There's WWE apparently is good. There's AEW. There's a million other indie stuff out there. There's New Japan. There's there's so much going on.
What a time. So as we get started here, we just want to talk briefly about Jay Briscoe and AEW again, just on the 1 year anniversary, giving an update. His girls are okay. I actually forgot that they had said she was going to be paralyzed at first, but that was incredible to see her walk out. And incredible kudos to AEW for, I've never seen anybody get, he had the tribute show and then an update or a second, I don't want to say it was a tribute show, but it was a second little tribute. And then they did the same thing for Brody Lee last week. So kudos AEW for just actually being cool.
Yeah, that was great the way they did it too. I forgot that his daughter was involved in the accident. So then the fact that as soon as he mentioned it, I was like, oh yeah. And then that was really cool the way they did it. It was nice.
Yeah, really cool. And Tony likes his tournaments, as we all know. Just real quick, are we eventually going to get either a Jay Briscoe and or Brody Lee tournament?
Yeah, I feel like you have to. I feel like ROH is just asking for a Jay Briscoe tournament for something.
Oh yeah, that would be awesome.
That seems like what. Yeah, you're right. Tony Khan loves tournaments, so that makes perfect sense for him to do that. Yeah.
All right. And real quick, welcome to anybody that's new here. We had a few new subscribers this week, from last week into this week. So, welcome. Talk to us. We'll talk back. We're very reachable. Interact with us.
And all that stuff.
Yes. Rate, share, Elite City Pod everywhere. If that's how you found us, we're pretty much everywhere. We're not on X, unfortunately.
Yeah, we exist on X, but we don't really do anything.
Oh,
there. All of our the account's still there. But,
nice. See, I thought we scrapped it altogether.
No, if we deleted it, it would be taken by some crypto scammer and
that's true.
Spew craziness. So I'll leave the account because I don't want that to happen.
That's a good point.
But most of our stuff is on Threads and Blue Sky and Mastodon.
Yes,
we're there.
I always forget about Mastodon, but yes, Mastodon also.
Yes.
So Christian, talk about hitting on all cylinders. Christian has been hitting on all cylinders, but also Dustin Rhodes has quietly 2 or 3 weeks in a row has had really good matches. Not that I'm not saying that he stinks. I'm just very surprised that he's hitting at that level consistently. That makes sense.
I think this is probably near the end. I feel like he's retiring soon because they're giving him these matches. He wasn't on TV really for a while.
Right.
I feel like this is wrapping things up for him, and that's
cool.
I found this match a little long. It was a great match. I found it a little long, but it was good. And I have no problem with it if he's retiring in the next couple of months to give him some time to go out and just wrestle people. That's cool.
And that's what I was just going to say. After you said it, I was, what do you think? Maybe about summer?
Yeah, probably. That would make sense.
Yeah. hell of a run. I mean, he's wrestled in what, 5 decades? So yeah, 35 years, 5 different decades or 6 decades or whatever it is.
Yeah, I think he's been wrestling since like the 80s, right? So
yes. So unreal.
I feel like he's the kind of guy who will, and no knock on him at all. I think that his next step is to go like get a Legends deal with WWE and go to the Hall of Fame because he should be.
100% he should be. And as much as I joke around saying like WWE screwed Cody and when they screw Cody again, blah blah blah, I don't think that like they understand everything that Dustin has done for them as Goldust, and Goldust will go into the Hall of Fame, 100%.
And maybe they'll give him a title before Cody too. Why not?
See, that's the trick. They're offering Stardust the title, and Cody's standing his ground. They're like, well, we didn't say Cody Rhodes would win the title.
Yeah,
we
Vince McMahon's parting words was like, I need to screw the Rhodes family again. I have to find a way to do it again. I'll sell the company, but I have to screw the Rhodes family one more time.
It was in Cody's contract in the small print. And he's like, no,
I should have read that part.
Yeah, damn it, lawyers.
That's why he was laughing maniacally when he signed it. I understand now.
And now I'm stuck here for 4 years. Anyways, speaking of, just randomly, it just dawned on me, he's coming to a contract here pretty soon, huh?
Yeah, like, the rumor is like
2 years or something.
They'll like a rumor it's up. It's close to being up, or it's near being up, or he's it's the internet, right? So like all the reporters are like, it's either expiring soon or has expired, and he's either resigned or hasn't resigned. Like it's no one actually knows what they're talking about, but
exactly.
Yeah, it's soon because it was WrestleMania 2 years ago. I think it was like a 2-year deal. So
they're gonna obviously lock him up, right?
Yeah, they'd be silly not to.
Oh, they can screw him again and say, "Oh, we don't have anything for you."
It would be really really silly if they push because they haven't pushing him, like he hasn't won, but he's on TV all the time, right? It'd be silly to have him be on TV this much and then just like let him leave, but you never know.
Yeah, and as we always said, like Cody is where he needs to be, and it just works there.
Yeah,
it's the same thing. I mean, he's doing nothing different other than
just works there.
Yeah, his promos are a little more railed in. He doesn't have free reign, but other than that, Cody Rhodes works there. Like the weight belt works, doesn't get thrown back at him. I will laugh every time.
The Super Pro America giant American flag thing, like that works for them.
Yeah.
So
whatever.
I think it was Danny Garcia. I forget. He had an interview somewhere, and he said that like people talk about like this, tribalism, WWE versus AEW stuff, and he goes, we being the wrestlers, we all want them to do well, and everyone there wants us to do well, like all the wrestlers,
right?
Because it helps everybody. Now you have, you can, even if you're not planning on leaving, you can go, hey, maybe AEW is going to offer me more money, and that'll help you on your next deal, right? It would be the worst thing for the wrestlers if one of them stopped hiring people, or because
absolutely
right now they have that leverage. So,
well, we're going to get to it a little bit later, but the rumor of Okada leaving, as in his contract's up in 10 days and he's not going to resign, not leaving as in quitting.
Right.
But apparently when he saw the money that was offered to him here, he's like, well, geez, I'm getting underpaid.
Yeah.
So I think that was I don't think he realized his worth. And a lot of people don't realize their worth because there was only one game to play. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they didn't have to tell you, right? Like you,
right?
If they signed you to a contract and were like, "Hey, don't tell anyone else how much you make,"
right?
You would just not tell anyone else how much you make, and they would never find out. And now, where you can go, "Oh, wait, this guy went to this other company. I wonder how much they would offer me. Oh, wow, they're offering me so much more. Okay, well, I'm gonna go back to the first guy and be like, so they're offering me this. Yeah, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly. Why wouldn't you? If other than Darby, I mean, Darby basically said, I told Tony Khan, I don't care, just sign me for life.
Yeah.
Other than him, he's the anomaly.
That's right.
But yeah, like everybody's going to do that now. And of course, as soon as somebody's contract's coming up and they send out feelers, people are going to be, oh, so-and-so's going somewhere else. Like, well, no, they're just playing the market.
Yeah, it would make perfect sense. Like, why wouldn't you? That's why they have contracts.
And speaking of contracts, new signing, Deonna Purrazzo.
Yes.
Faced Anna Jay.
Yes.
And Toni Storm was on commentary, and she's a treasure.
Being incredible as usual.
Yes, being incredible as usual. And Deonna, you said it last week. She has it.
Yeah, she has a real star quality to her. Like, it's obvious that she's a star. Yeah. I found it interesting. I feel like now, because they started off with it looked like it was gonna be a Mariah May Deonna Purrazzo feud, and now they seem like they kind of jumped to Deonna versus Toni Storm, which makes sense. Like, I'm not against it, but it seems like they've kind of just jumped forward to, we're just gonna go straight to Toni Storm. I think she might have to face Mariah May along the way, but
though
the feud is Toni Storm.
Yeah, Mariah May will be the roadblock per se. But kudos to Anna Jay too. She had 2 bangers this week, and I'm going to yell at the internet real quick.
Go for it.
I cannot stand for the life of me whenever people say, "Oh, whenever Sky Blue or Anna Jay's in the ring, they put someone in there that can cover for them." That's, first off, skill level is different no matter where you go. Nobody is ever on the same level in everything. Everybody's someone's always better or worse than you.
Unless you're Bryan Danielson, then you're better than everyone.
Then 1,000% you're better. But he's also the Sidney Crosby thing. He's a robot.
Yes, he's a robot. Yes.
Yeah. Anyways, you wouldn't be on TV if you stunk. Just because you can't find a reason to not like somebody, don't just automatically think that they can't cut it. That's stupid, and I hate it.
Anna Jay is one of those people like Saraya or a few other people that, like, the internet just decided to hate on.
Yeah.
For just because they don't like them for whatever reason, and it's not right.
And let's also not forget, Anna Jay has had the amount of matches that she's had in AEW. Add 4, that's the amount she had in her entire life. So before signing, she was very much a rookie.
Yes. And
she's 4 years in, and she destroyed it. So people shut up. Anyways.
And Toni Storm with a picture-in-picture, I think the line of the night when she said, Anna Jay's got a fat ass and a bad attitude, much like Orson Wells.
I'm so mad that cable doesn't let me hear that.
Which was wonderful.
I mean,
nobody
understood that.
That Ian Riccaboni was Tony Schiavone, and he just looked different.
Great. Whenever Taz went, yeah, it looks like he shaved.
I don't know if it was on TV or not, but at one point, I think Excalibur was like, that's a different person, right? And Ian Riccaboni goes, shh, she's complimenting me. Just leave it alone.
Oh, that's amazing. Ian is unbelievably good.
He's great. I love him.
I have always loved him in Ring of Honor, and I always thought he got like the raw end of the deal. Like, again, there was one show in town. Michael Cole wasn't losing his job, but like, I'm so happy to see him on like national television. He's just so good. Same with Caprice Coleman. They're such a good team. But
so what do you think this means with the Deonna Toni Storm stuff? Where do you think
that? Oh, go ahead.
Do you think
I was gonna
it goes to a title match, but what do you think happens with it?
That's funny. We just talked over each other continuously for 2 seconds, 2 minutes. I mean, I kind of have a theory. I think not as when I say MJF-ish, I don't mean they're going to make her a heel. I think she's going to just continually put roadblocks in front of her, but they're going to be like silly ones. Like Mariah May will be a real one, but she will make her wrestle like Wendy Richter if Wendy is up to it.
I hope she starts throwing out names of like long dead actresses from like the 20s. Be like, no, you have to battle Elizabeth Taylor. And people are like, what are you talking about? That can't happen.
Yes. If please let her do this. That would be utterly amazing. Yeah. Just like funny version of MJF.
Yeah. People who are like clearly dead. Like from 100 years ago. It would be great.
Yeah. Unreal. She's so good at what she does. And
I feel like she doesn't even need, like, it makes sense for her to have the belt because she's like the top star in the division, but like she doesn't really need it. She could lose it tomorrow and she could still be her and it would be fine.
It wouldn't matter one bit, and it would even add to the character because then like they would like she could carry around like a fake one or something. Like it would just it would just be amazing. But yeah, like the women's division in general is rock and rolling right now.
Yes. Who was it? Who was backstage? I forget their name. I don't know.
Camille.
I didn't know who they were. Okay. All right.
She's very good. Very like Deanna, very technical based, and just smooth as glass in the ring. Like very good. Nice. And if they have her on the radar and Mercedes either signed or on the radar too, and my God,
Serena Deeb's coming back.
And I forgot about Serena Deeb coming back. I mean, that division is going to be amazing. I mean, it's just going to add, but geez, it's going to be off the rails good.
Like all they honestly need is just more time on TV now. That's all they need.
And I mean,
because they would blow people. Like there's 10, 15 people there that can blow you away if they're given enough time on TV. So that's all they need.
Yeah, and I mean, it looks like they're really pushing for it and trying because they've stepped it up a little bit, but it still needs stepped up a little more. But it's in the right direction.
Yes.
Moving right along, the Young Bucks, aka Mr. McMahon, circa 1996. Oh, this is amazing. Sit down interview. And we learned who they're going to be. And it's amazing. I know you hate it already, but it's great.
I hate aspects of it. I don't hate all of it. But you can say first why it's good, and then I have a prepared statement.
Okay. Why it's good is because it's what they've done 600 million times, and it's just beating the dead horse to death.
That's exactly why I'm annoyed by it.
That's why I love it. It's the dull. Troll of troll. Yeah. It's just being a troll. Like, it's so good.
My problem with being with the troll is always just like, if I come out and go 2 + 2 is 98, and you go, no, actually it's 4, and I go, ha, you fell for my troll. I'm like, that's not clever. You're just being dumb. That's what the Young Bucks are to me. They're just like, hey, your mom's fat.
And see, I laugh every time. I laughed at that.
That's all they are.
I will laugh every time because I have the mentality of a 4-year-old. I literally laughed at your mom's fat joke. I laugh at everything that they do. It's hilarious to me. Yeah, it's just going to be like the stupid 2 sweets when like everyone, as soon as they got the cease and desist, what did they do? They 2 sweeted to the point of like their fingers bled. It was the greatest thing. Oh, so amazing. It's genius. And I think that's how they're going to get Okada in. That's my.
Yeah, we'll talk about him later, but I have a prepared statement of the Young Bucks.
Yes, please.
All right. Now, the match will be good. I'm not saying the match won't be good because the Bucks, as annoying as they are and like overdone. I think they're kind of overdone in the ring, but like they're good. They're exciting. They'll bump around like crazy. It'll be a good match. And Sting apparently wanted this match for that reason. So yeah, that makes sense. I'm not complaining that they're the opponents in general because I think it'll be good. The angle could be good too. I don't know, but like after the first week, I don't like it, and the reason I don't like it is because I don't think it makes sense. I get what they're doing. I know that they're leaning into what like the internet thinks of them, and like of course they're gonna like wink and nod at the internet because that's their thing. That's all they do. That's like they could do it all day long, and it would be fine if it made sense. But it doesn't make sense. And I have 4 reasons why it doesn't make sense.
Okay.
1, you can't say that you're sick of all these other guys coming in and changing AEW and then say, oh, Sting's not doing that, but we're mad at Sting anyway. Well, why? Sting has nothing to do with it. If he's not one of the people that is bothering you, why are you facing Sting? He's unrelated. It reminds me of when WWE was just like, oh, Sting is here to defend WCW. And Sting was like, I never said that. Why are you trying to claim that I'm like, this would work fine if it was against like Andrade when he was there or Miro or like, CM Punk, but someone who fits into the description of, came into AEW and was disruptive and tried to change it. And like Sting is not that person. So saying that they're coming to like get mad. It's you're saying that they want to face Sting because he's an outsider, and then going, oh, but he's not like that. It would be like if I said, oh, I'm mad at everyone who hates pizza, and then said, Blasco, I'm going to wrestle you because I don't want anyone who hates pizza on this podcast. I know you like pizza, but that's not related. I'm going to wrestle you anyway. Like, then why even bring up that point? It doesn't mean anything.
Well, I took it differently. I took it as in Sting, as in the old guard, not Sting the person. Like Sting and everybody from that era is just
right. But
garbage.
They said like, oh, Sting's not like that.
Right.
They said we didn't want people to come in here and change AEW because we had an identity for it, and people have come in and changed it. But Sting's not one of those people. Well, then why are you even bringing that up if he's not one of those people? It's unrelated. Doesn't make any sense. It'd be like if you're talking about Mr. McMahon. If Mr. McMahon was just like, I want to get rid of all the people who don't represent my company well. Not Steve Austin. He's doing a great job. But I want to get rid of Steve Austin anyway. Like, then why are you... It doesn't make sense. I don't get it.
I see what you're saying.
If they had positioned it as like anyone older than us has to go, that would make sense.
Yeah. Okay.
Or anyone who like
it's the delivery.
Anyone who didn't debut with AEW, that would make sense. But like just the way they could fix it. Like it's 1 week, it's one promo. Like they can fix. That bugged me. Okay. And another thing that bugged me was like Sting has already said he's retiring.
Mm-hmm.
Like no matter who he faces at Revolution, he could face nobody and he's retiring.
Right.
So why are the Bucks like saying, "Oh, we have to leave, make him leave"? He's already leaving. You're not doing anything. He's already saying he wants to retire. You're not making him retire.
See, that to me, that's the McMahon aspect of it. They're just writing their own reality as part of the characters.
Yeah, but it would be like if Mr. McMahon was like, I want Steve Austin out of this company. And Steve Austin's like, I already said I was leaving the company. And he's like, well, I want him out. But I already said I was gone. Like, this isn't...
Again, I get it, but I see what they're doing too. Like, it's to just make people mad. Like,
yeah, but I have a third point about this. Okay. My third point is, if the Bucks are being heels, which they obviously are, why are they defending AEW, which most fans like? They're like, that's the thing that people want them to do. Most AEW fans probably agree that we don't want AEW guys coming in and changing how AEW was. So why are they heels then?
Well, again, like it's on how you look at it. It like they said, this is just who they were at the beginning, just trying to change the world and everything. So, I mean, I see what you're saying. It's, I don't know.
They're only heels because they're facing Sting, and Sting's not going to get booed in his last match. Like, of course.
In North Carolina.
Right.
Like, no way. But I mean,
like, you mentioned McMahon, and I thought of McMahon too, because like when Vince McMahon gave that Brett promo, he initially, according to JR, he thought that was a face promo. He thought people were like WWF fans were gonna like rally around him, and then found out, oh no, wait, they don't actually like my company. But like people, like AEW fans like AEW. So if like EVPs of the company are like, we're gonna defend AEW, that doesn't make them heels. That makes them good guys, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I don't know.
Like the only reason that they're heels at this point is because they're annoying. Like they're obnoxious and they're annoying. But like heels usually like do bad stuff.
Well, yeah,
they're not doing bad stuff. They're just annoying.
Well, they haven't done anything yet.
Right. Yeah. Maybe next week they come out and they, smash Sting in the head with a chair or something, and fine, that makes sense. But like at this point, I'm just basing this off this first promo. Like at this point, they're not doing anything heelish, really, other than just being obnoxious. Like they're just being annoying. Like they're jerks and they're annoying, but like they're not. They've said they like Sting. They've said Sting isn't a problem. They've said they wanted to help AEW. Like that's everything that everybody wants them to do. So what makes them heels? I think it would have been better if they came out and said that like, oh, Sting's retiring and like we're the only team good enough to face Sting, and because we're EVPs, we can just book ourselves into that role. And that would give them the same internet, cred of wink, wink. Right. You guys know the real story. And it would actually be heelish to be like, no, we don't care that like someone else wants to face Sting, or that Sting wants to face someone else, we're going to book ourselves into that spot because we think we're great. Like, that would have been better.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That would have at least been heelish.
Yeah, I mean, I can't. I was all prepared to rebuttal, but everything you said has been. I mean, I see exactly what you're saying, and I guess the way that I was looking at it 1,000% differently, but looking at it through unveiled eyes, you're definitely correct. But like you said, it is just
week one. Like, it could get better. Yeah. Like, I do like them being like smarmy jerks and like acting like they're better than everyone. Like, that's funny and that fits. Like, it works. So ramp that up. Like, my problem with the Young Bucks, I think I said this before, is they can't do anything seriously. It can never just be like, we're gonna act like jerks who think we're better than everyone. It can't be. It has to be like, we're going to act like jerks who act like we're better than everyone. But all of our real fans know what we're really like. Haha, remember? Wink, wink. No, don't do that. Just do the jerk part. Don't look at the camera and go, what do you mean? Like, no, just do the being and a jerk and just do that. And just do that. Be like preachy and full of yourself and holier than thou, and then be a heel. And that would work.
It would work, but I don't think it would be the Bucks. I think I'd be a little mad. But then again, I guess they'd be doing their job, because I wouldn't be getting what I wouldn't be getting fulfilled.
Yeah,
so that would be like what a heel would do. They can't
go straight heel. I think it was Jericho who once said, like, if you want to be a good heel, you have to have nothing that anybody likes about you. And they can't do that. They have to have like, oh no, we're still cool with the internet, right? Like, no, just be like, have no redeeming qualities. Just be bad for a while, and that would be interesting. Like, MJF, even when he was like at his most heelish, like in his feud with Punk, like his redeeming quality was like, oh, he was bullied as a kid and whatever.
True.
But his response to it was so evil that you were like, I don't care that he was bullied as a kid. He's a jerk, so I still hate him. Like, the Bucks have to be jerks more. Like, if they come out next week and just like mock Sting and like, beat up Darby or something, then it's like, okay, then at least they're being heels, and that would be fine. So we'll see where it goes.
Well, I was going to ask you, do we see them tomorrow, or do you think?
I think they will, because they want to.
They're going to really hype the match, huh?
And they want to be like, we're on Collision. Remember, we're not supposed to be on this show. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. The internet knows the truth, but they want to do that. So
that's awesome. See, that made me happy. Like, as soon as you said that, I smiled.
My fourth point, I wrote down. I just wrote down. Okay. I hate the Young Bucks. That was my fourth point. I just wanted to point that out.
my rebuttal.
I hate them because they have potential. Like, everything they do could be better. Like, they're jerks, and that's fine. Like, it's okay. It's cheap heel heat. It's like saying your sports team sucks, or I said, your mom's fat. Like, it's cheap heat to be like, we're
laughed again.
But like, they could be better. Everything they've always done has always been like, this is fine, because they know how to make the internet react, and they bump around a lot. But if they did things that made sense, and they went all in on something, no pun intended, gotcha. Like all in on being heels, and like wrote a storyline that made sense and just was real, instead of always having to be kind of half heel, half like, then I just think they have more potential. They have to structure themselves a little bit better. They have to structure how they portray their characters better if they want to be heels. Even their matches, they have to structure them a little bit better, because I don't want to sound like Jim Cornette, but like, if you're spending 5 minutes setting up a spot, and then you do the spot, and then the next spot is just another 5 minutes setting up another, like, no, you don't have to do that. Like, they're talented guys, like, they're athletic. Right. They could structure the way they do things in a way that comes off better, in my opinion.
You saying all that, this made me think of something, and them not being able to go all in one way. I wonder if that comes from being an indie wrestler and not wanting your merch sales to dip. And I'm being dead ass serious.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense. That does make sense.
Like, I just thought of that right now. Like,
because if everyone really, really, really hates you, they're not going to buy your shirt. So if you give them the old, this is just a game, I'll see you at the merch table. That makes sense. That's probably true, actually.
Yeah, because just sitting here, I was like, man, why don't they do that? And then I was like, wait a minute. Before AEW, that was their that was their income.
I think that's probably true. Like heard Kevin Nash talking once when they started the NWO and they started wearing the NWO shirts and they did like their paid commercials to sell the shirts. Someone at WCW was like, "Oh, we're going to put them in the merch stand." He's like, "No, that goes against us. We're not part of your company." Right. So don't put our shirts up in the merch stand. We're bad guys. If we sell shirts, we have to sell them separately from like out of the trunk of our car after the show or something because like we don't work here. But you're right. If you're trying to sell shirts, you can't do that because you're not going to sell any shirts.
Right. So now that
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
like I think it was Jericho again when he turned heel. He was like, "Oh, we have to not have any merchandise for me because I am a jerk. I don't want people wearing my shirt, right?" But yeah, the Bucks, if they come from being indie wrestlers and they want for the last 10 years before AEW, that's all they wanted to do. So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, that was your guaranteed paycheck as an indie wrestler. If you were selling shirts, it didn't matter. Well, you definitely still wanted. I was going to say it didn't matter if you got paid. No, that's not true. It definitely mattered if you got paid.
But yeah, the Bucks probably made most of their money off their merchandise.
Right. That's what I was just going to say. They had a steady paycheck in shirts.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually.
So that is an interesting point, though. Like again, WWE controlling the narrative, being the only person in town. People like Jericho, like they were paying the big bucks. Like Jericho didn't need a shirt.
Right.
That one. What was it? It was the original. It was that gray punk shirt. What did it say? Chicago made or something on it.
Yeah.
But like I remember being told that that shirt came out in October of whatever year, 07, 08, whatever. After WWE took their cut, he made $1 million in 1 month off just that shirt. And that was after WWE got paid. And in WWE, it's apparently like a 60-40 split. Like they don't take a lot, but they get a majority. So, so on that level, like, yeah, the Bucks weren't making anything near that, but they were selling a boatload of shirts.
Right. Yeah. That makes perfect sense why they've got where they are today by like being cool on the internet, basically.
Right.
Like the reason people care who they were before AEW, the reason they got to found AEW was because they were cool on the internet. So yeah, you're right. That's probably why they're reluctant to give that up.
Well, I was going to say my rebuttal, it's not going to be a rebuttal, but I'm going to kind of add to what you're going to say is now I want them to go full blown. I don't even want to see you on my television because I know they're getting the paycheck now. They don't need me to buy their shirt.
Yeah.
I want the like almost MJF style. Like we're going to boo so loud that you're not going to be able to hear the PA system when you're trying to talk.
Yeah. Like that's the thing. Yeah. I think they're good enough to do that. I just think they haven't and it's frustrating.
Yeah. And now that I see that, there's no reason now.
Yeah. I do wish, and I know they're not the kind of guys who are going to take advice from people. Like, and that's worked. Again, it's worked for them their whole career. So that's fine.
True.
But I do wish that someone like Jericho or someone that they trust or listen to,
or even Kenny.
Yeah. Would sit there and be like, look, if you structure your matches a little differently, and you structure the way you like conduct your promos or whatever a little differently, you could go from like, 70% of the audience hates you to 100% of the audience hates you. And that's what you want when you're a bad guy, right?
Yeah.
Like they could be great. I'm annoyed that they're not is my problem. Like I'm annoyed at them for various reasons in the past, like stuff they've done annoyingly before, but like looking at the Young Bucks today, I feel like they are talented. Like they've had good matches. Like their matches with Kenny and Hangman were great. Their matches with the Lucha Bros were great. Like FTR stuff was like they're not like it's silly if you say they're not good wrestlers because they are.
Right. Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
But I want them to like commit to something. I think they're so like maybe it's their personalities or like their age range where like they're just like because how old are they? Like 30, late 30s, 38-ish?
Keep talking. I'll look it up.
Something like that. I feel like maybe it's their age or their upbringing in the indies or whatever that like makes them too cool to to go all in on something, like too cool to care. Like you always have to be like, oh yeah, I'm only doing this because it's whatever, right? Like I'm not. Oh, I don't really want to do this. I'm just doing it because it's whatever. Like you're not. You can't be truly dedicated to something because that's not cool. You can't be truly focused on something because that's not cool. You have to have this like detached nature to yourself all the time. And I get that that's what got them here because people thought that was cool.
Right.
But they're here now and they're EVPs of a company and like they don't have to try to convince anybody else of anything. They could just be better.
Yeah. Before you go any further, Matt Jackson is 38. Good call. And Nick is 34.
All right. Yeah, there you go.
Well,
like I do like that they're going to play the EVP card and be like, just talk about how they're have power. Like that works. Like that would work as a heel. It would. And I just hope they go in more on that. And like, yeah, the thing with Sting, maybe they'll explain it better because their thing of like, we don't want people coming in and changing our company. Sting didn't do that, but we're going to treat him anyway. Like why? Like
right.
Structure it better. Just structure it a little bit better and it's fine.
Now, this is just me spitballing here. What if they joined Don Callis? Do you think people would turn on them then?
Maybe. Yeah, that's the other thing. You know, people have been turning on Jericho. Like they had that match on Battle of the Belts, which is great, by the way. I thought it wouldn't be, but it was.
Yeah,
they started that match outside, and they had last week on Dynamite, they played his music during the brawl because they're worried about him.
Oh, yeah.
And like, I think part of the reason people are booing him is because of all the allegations that have been online that we're not going to get into.
I agree.
But I think there is a part of the reason people are booing him just because they're sick of him, right? Like they're just, before those allegations came out, I think people were sick of him, right?
I agree too.
So I think maybe if they ended up with Don Callis, who already gets a lot of heat, and then they're being annoying would like push them over the edge to like a bit more. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Like just the small things that they could do. Just be like, oh, Don Callis is so great. He was the best signing we ever. Like they could like just ignore like Danielson and all that, being like, we personally brought Don Callis in here.
I did like when they said Sting's been a model employee. Like that was
yeah.
Good.
That was
like a nice shot at like, oh, we respect him as an employee. Like that was good. I like that. Yeah. That was good. I think they have to go further. And then I'll like it.
Now, who do you think called Nick? That's the.
I mean, the rumor is Okada, and it would make sense. It would be awesome if it was. We can do the Okada stuff now if we want.
Okay.
I think that's next. Yeah, it's next anyway.
It's next anyway. So.
Yeah, that would be awesome if it was. I don't know if on Wednesday they knew that was a possibility. I mean, they're friends with him, so maybe they did. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, him and Nick are legit best friends.
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, I'm not saying that anything is in stone. This is just my head. If they know anything, they would be the ones that would know, and they'd be the ones to tease it. And Okada would probably give them the okay to tease it.
Right.
But that being said, like you said, if that was part of it, the delivery again was bad because it's like, oh, you got a phone call. Like, we didn't even know Okada was a possibility until about this time yesterday.
Yeah.
So
I get what they were trying to do, being like, oh, we're so important, we have to go deal with. But
totally.
But they should play it up a little bit. Like they should just do a better job at delivering what they're trying to do.
Agreed. Now, again, the Okada rumor is he sent out feelers and AEW answered first, and he went to New Japan and was like, you guys are grossly underpaying me. So I think
the
that's
rumor
why
is that he wanted to stay, but realized he kind of couldn't.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously,
now, New Japan putting out that statement seemed a little odd to me because it seemed like it was a sudden reaction. Like they thought he was going to stay, and then he told them he wasn't. So they like quickly put this out. Like I've never seen really a wrestling company do that before. Have you? Just put out a statement being like, this person is. I know he's a big deal.
I think that was just a respect to him.
Right.
And then again, maybe, Tanahashi's the new president. Maybe he's going to do things differently. But it was weird reading it because I never thought that I would see that. It's going to come off like like they're passing him around like he's like a toy or something, and I don't want to come off that way. But I always thought there would be the big farewell from New Japan and the big welcome to wherever was next.
Yeah,
and it's almost like, well, this is over, and here's what's happening next.
I mean,
like,
it does seem
everything seems rushed.
Because usually if like your biggest star is leaving your company, unless they're
Right.
CM Punk and they get in a fight backstage and get fired or something,
Right.
usually they have like a big thing, right? Either like a big send off, or like you put over the next guy, or they do something. But yeah, it's weird that they just put it out as a press release, and like the matches that he's kind of already scheduled for, there's like, oh yeah, he'll do those, but he's done. Like it was odd.
And to me, that made it seem like it was obviously AEW, which means he would still work shows there.
See, that made me, and the fact that the statement came out though made me think that they don't know where he's going, because if they knew he was going to AEW, like if they were certain, like say he already signed or was intent to sign as soon as he can, then I don't think they would say anything. Because they could have him back for whenever not whenever they wanted, but like if they had an event they wanted him back for, they could probably have him back. Whereas them issuing that statement makes me think they don't know where he's going. So they're just issuing that, just in case he never comes back again.
True. Like
we didn't fire him. Like his contract ran out. Like just to explain themselves. I think they don't know.
That's a good point. And it, excuse me, it just popped in my head too. Like maybe he was legit mad. Like when that first offer from AEW came back and he's like, oh my goodness, that's a lot of zeros.
Yeah, I could see him being like, wait, you told me that every wrestler only made this much money. What are you talking about? Right?
Yeah, like that's way more than I was expecting.
Though it's a little, I mean, maybe they just didn't talk about it, but it's a little odd that like he's friends with like the Bucks and Kenny. Like you figured at some point someone would have said to him, oh, by the way, we pay way more than New Japan. Just like, oh yeah, or like not even like a hint at AEW being like, oh yeah, we had to go wrestle in the US because they pay so much more. Like it's weird that it never came up.
Unless it's like that weird, like for guys from the 70s that didn't break kayfabe, like maybe with Inoki you didn't talk about your contract. I don't know. Maybe that's just how it is, and that's how it is there.
Or maybe they just assumed he made way more because he's Okada.
Or
right. So
I mean, he's the Rainmaker. I mean, he comes out to money. So
right. Where do you think he goes? What are your thoughts?
I mean, and not just because I'm an AEW shill. That's where all his friends are, and this is just me in my personal like headspace. If I have two choices and one is a pasture that I've never been to before and I know very little people again, or all my people are over here, I don't care what is going on over here. I'm going with my people. Just me, Yeah,
I think it really depends on what he wants. Because
that's what I was going to say. That's the next thing.
A transition to AEW would obviously be easier. He knows everybody there. He could always go back to New Japan.
Right.
Like it would be easier. And it seems like that's like a great move because it's easier. You still know everybody. It's kind of similar. It's more similar than WWE would be.
Your friends run it.
And you make a lot more money.
And
The only thing is maybe he wants something totally different. Maybe he's like, I've already done this before. I've already wrestled with all these guys. I want to do something completely different that I've never done before. And then he might go to WWE. That's the only reason I think he would.
And that's what I will agree with you 100% on that. But that's putting a lot of faith that they're going to use you right. And they don't have the best track record right now. That's the only thing that would scare me.
I totally agree because I mean, like Shinsuke Nakamura came over with all the hype in the world and
he's still nothing more than a US champion.
He looked good for like a month but that was also Vince's WWE, right? So it's unknown. It's like you don't know how Triple H is going to book him. Like he's never booked a star coming from another like he's booked Cody and Punk, but they were already there before. He's never booked like a new person coming from really on the main roster. He hasn't done that. So you have no idea.
Yeah. Well, that's not true. He has Jade, and I mean, she's moving on, what, 6 or 8 months already, and
Yeah,
she's
but
not
with
even
Jade,
on
you can say
TV.
like she's new, right? Like she's a new wrestler.
But you put her on television. I
Yeah,
mean,
but that's not the same situation as Okada. Like he's wrestled for years and she hasn't. I think the only like possible comparison would be like if like Kenny Omega or something came over, how would they book it? Like AJ Styles is a reasonable comparison, I think, because like he's wrestled a whole bunch everywhere and went to WWE and he did pretty well there. He did better than I ever thought he was going to do. But he's also American, which
yes.
I mean sounds bad, but like it's WWE, right? So
well, yeah, I
they
mean,
might be willing though to give him an insane amount of money, an insane amount of like they might be willing to give him a part-time deal where he can still live in Japan or something, because I think WWE's never been successful in Japan. And I feel like Triple H would love if he could like get WWE into Japan, and maybe getting Okada would help them with that. Like, oh, we can't have a show in Japan now because no one's going to go, but if Okada was there, maybe that would help us, right? Like,
yeah,
so maybe they give him a deal that they wouldn't give someone else. Like they give him like a a Roman Reigns or Brock Lesnar type deal where you only have to show up every 2 months.
oh, that would be a way. I don't know if he would accept that. Like if for like the work ethic thing. I mean, he's like a Danielson. Like he's like, whoa, wait a minute. I'm only going to work, 6 times a year. Nah,
Unless
I'm
he
going to
unless
work
he wants to live in
600 times.
Japan. If he wants to
Well,
keep
that's
living
true.
in Japan, then that's
True.
yeah.
I never thought
Like
of that.
we don't know. Neither of us obviously know him well enough to know him at all to know like it. I think it's going to come down to personal preference. Does he want a new challenge? Does he want to see his friends? Does he want to keep living in Japan? Like how often does he want to wrestle? Does he want to come back to New Japan, or did he have like a falling out with them? Like we have
But
no
yeah,
idea.
that's the. And again, this might be part of, again, Tanahashi, we don't know what he's doing as president. This just might be, we're looking at it as a negative. It just might be the way that he does business. I don't know.
Right.
It's
Now that you mentioned that, there
interesting
is a lot of
story.
unknowns, right? Like him going
Yeah,
to WWE is unknown because Triple H is there now, not Vince. And
right.
in New Japan, Tanahashi's there now. Like they have a new person in charge. Like basically the most established person right now is Tony Khan, which is weird, but
That's true.
it's kind of true.
That is kind of true. Yeah. Wow. Well, I guess you could throw, even though it's not a major show, as far as a booker goes, though, you could throw Michaels in there because I mean he's been doing NXT for
Right. Yeah.
well, as long as AEW exists, 5-6 years at least.
It's also weird to think like where would he fit into like in AEW you can kind of tell where Okada could fit into the
Yeah.
thing into he would be along the lines of like a Jay White level guy, like not necessarily champion right away, but he's in main storylines right away. Like you feel
Right.
like that's where they'd slot him in. They'd put him in against Hangman or Adam Cole or somewhere along there. But WWE is completely unknown. Like, do they put him with AJ Styles? Do they put him with Nakamura? Do they put him with Cody? Like, you have no idea where on the card he would be. Like, do they try to say he needs to go to NXT for a while? Like, you have no clue what they would do with him there.
Oh man, I just totally realized too. He's the leader of Chaos, which that's half the members are best friends and Rocky Romero.
Yeah.
So he would have his whole stable here too.
Yeah,
Oh man.
AEW would obviously be an easier transition.
Yeah, yeah.
If that's what he wants.
Interesting.
Someone pointed out an interesting thing. I don't like you haven't watched, but like Shinsuke Nakamura has been giving these like weird promos where he like sits in a room and gives a promo. And for a while he was using the GTS as his finisher. And this is just an internet theory, but the internet theory is he was using it as his finisher for a while. And then when they, that report came out that talks fell off with CM Punk, he stopped using it. And then when he came back, he used it again. Like it was just like that was his hint, right? Like that Punk is coming. He has said something like, "I'm going to bring chaos to WWE." Is that just wishful thinking though, or is that a hint, or is that? But that was months ago, right? So Okada was that like kind of them hinting to him because they can't negotiate with him because he's under contract? Was that them kind of being like, "We're interested in you"?
It could be.
I mean, there obviously is. I have heard, from what you can tell, there is interest in him, which is
absolutely
interesting.
Wow, it's what a time to be a fan. It's so fun. The unknown is fun.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, this is what everybody loved about wrestling in the 90s.
Yeah,
was like, oh, where's this guy gonna go? Right, like, oh, he left WCW, and then Steve Austin left WCW, and he showed up in ECW, and you're like, what's going on? Like, it was cool.
Well, I mean, nobody had Nick Nemeth in TNA. I mean, let's face it.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, we thought he was going to be in AEW with his brother.
Yeah.
And he signs with TNA. Unreal.
Yeah, good for them. Like, that was
cool.
Good
for them. Good for them. What a move.
I hope TNA goes really far, because why not have another promotion that's great? Like, they've been around for a long time, but they were a distant third for most of that point. So, like, if they're gonna move themselves back up, that's great.
And hey, don't count them out on Okada. I mean, he was just there. I mean,
he's just there. Apparently, he liked it. So
yeah, Ospreay just worked there.
Yeah.
Now let's get into that for a minute. AEW, if all the signings are true, in the hypothetical categories, that means in 2024 you're going to bring in. Well, Will Ospreay is signed, sealed, and delivered. There's no what if there. But you have Will Ospreay, Okada, and Mercedes. That's enough star power that if you sign that into a 5-year period, people would be like, oh, man, your company's doing good.
Yeah, on top of, like, Jay White coming in last year.
Right.
And, like, yeah.
It's January, 19th? We're 19 days into the year. And that could be AEW's, imagine that. That could literally be.
That's where you get to the point when you're like, they have to. I could see it being an issue. Not that it, like, obviously the match is going to be outstanding, but I could see it being an issue because, like, if you have all those guys signed, you have to give them TV time, right? You can't be like not putting them on TV. But then what do you do about, like, that? The only reason people like Swerve or Sky Blue or Julia Hart got anywhere is because they weren't super famous and they got TV time and it worked for them, right? Like, or Hook, right? Like,
right.
If you have that many guys who are main event level guys, when do you put those other people on?
See, it's what a problem to have. Like, it sucks, but you're right. I mean, it's a great problem to have too many outstanding.
Oh yeah, it's better than not having enough, for sure.
Right. But it's also an awful problem because, of course, well, you know what? We won't even say Okada's name because we don't know if he's signed yet. We'll use Ospreay. Of course, Will Ospreay should get time over Action Andretti. Sorry, Action Andretti. I'm just throwing you out there. You're a young guy.
Yeah.
But to your point, if you don't put Action Andretti on TV ever, when's he ever going to get? You're going to turn into, it was like late WWF / early WWE when the Attitude Era people were hanging on, and there was a new, the Cena generation, I guess, was ready to go, and nobody could get any other than Cena, but like the mid card couldn't get any time.
I feel like that's what they need. Like, and I know it's just going to add more TV, but I feel like ROH, if ROH was on TV, even on not like a good channel, right? Like even just on some whatever, there's a roadblock to ROH now because you have to pay for it. If ROH was just available somewhere at some easily accessible place, then they could use ROH in that capacity, right? Like they are kind of already are. Like Ethan Page and them are on ROH, but they're still being viewed by far fewer people because they're on the internet.
And like, I mean, I obviously subscribe, but I wonder if it would be to their benefit to like be a week behind, but put it for free on YouTube.
Yeah, already some of it. Like have put the main event on every week or something, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, like you keep it behind. That's a good yeah.
Because if you're not paying the $10 a month, like I don't pay for it. So like I haven't seen, I saw Ethan Page once when he had that match with Kenny Omega, and I haven't seen him in months since then, right? Like, so yeah, I don't know.
I mean, you haven't seen
in
how
one sense,
jacked he
AEW
got.
already has too much TV and too much going on, so you can't be like, oh, what they need is more TV. Like they don't. They don't need more TV.
Right.
But with that many guys, what else are you gonna do?
I mean, that's where the streaming service comes in.
Yeah.
Well, somebody brought up a point. What was Tony Khan's exact tweet yesterday?
Oh, he said. Well, he said it's going to be 2024 is going to be great for AEW.
Yeah, and then what was the gift that he followed it up with?
Oh, he tweeted. I think it's from The Wire. I haven't actually seen The Wire, but it was like a gif of someone saying like my name is my name. So it was like it was like a confidence sort of thing, right? Like I am who I am or something.
Okay. But somebody brought up a good point with, everyone is thinking, oh, that's Okada, that's Okada, that's Okada. What if that was him basically flexing and he got a TV rights deal and we just don't know yet?
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah, like I totally forgot that was even a thing.
Yeah.
So it is going to be a heck of a year.
Yeah, for sure.
But who is going to have a heck of a year because he had a heck of a match with Samoa Joe. Hook was he's become a made man. What a showing, and kudos to Samoa Joe for making Hook officially.
I think everything about that. I have one little thing to say about the ending, but other than that, like everything about how they did this was perfect. Like they made Hook look legitimate. They made Hook look like a threat to Samoa Joe, but then Samoa Joe didn't act like he was a threat to him because he's Samoa Joe.
Right.
The match itself, Hook that slam on the table looked horrifying.
Go back and watch it and watch Taz.
Yeah.
You see a legit father reaction.
Yeah.
I didn't notice it watching it live. I went back and I was watching it on YouTube. he does the half spin and lifts one leg up like, oh
yeah.
like he knew that it hurt.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's like a legit dad moment where he's like
even Taz was perfect during there when he was just like, I have to stop. I have to take off my headset for a minute. Like that was perfect. Like everything about it was great.
Do you think that was Taz working, or do you think Taz really needed to be like grit his teeth and say a couple swear words?
I don't know.
I mean, I'm literally like, if that was your kid and you were part of the business and you know what's going on, but you also know what it feels like.
Yeah. I mean, in one sense, I could see him being like, oh, I know this is going to make him right. So it's it's good. But in the other sense, as a parent, you're like, I don't want him to get hurt. Yeah.
Right. Like, did you have to put him through the table? Oh, you did. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but like him doing that made it better, right? Like it made it better than if it had been anything else. Like Samoa Joe played his role perfectly. Hook played his role perfectly. The fact that when one time Hook kicked out and the look on Samoa Joe's face wasn't like the WWE shock.
Yeah.
Like, the look on his face was kind of just like, how dare you? Like, who do you think you are?
Yeah,
right?
like
it was great. It was great.
The announcers say it even if the show stinks, they always say this is a pay-per-view quality match.
Yeah.
That was a legit pay-per-view quality main event on free television. And I didn't expect it to be that.
And it was perfect. A perfect example of how you tell a story in a match without having they didn't cut a bunch of promos or it was the story was told through the match, but they did it. They told a really good story through that match.
A perfect story. I mean, like you said, I mean, it legitimized Hook. It added to Joe's character.
And nobody thought Hook was going to win, but it was still interesting.
Yes. Yeah. You knew the outcome, but that's the biggest point. If you could see the outcome of a match and you can give but they've done their job.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
They're so good.
My only little, it's a nitpick. My only little nitpick was at the end when Hangman came out to help him. And then later he helped him up and they played Hook's music. There's a part of me that wanted Hook to choke him out.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I wanted to clothesline him.
Yeah, like an Austin sort of screw you. You don't get to help me.
Yeah,
right?
I don't need you.
Yeah.
That's
all I wanted. That's the only thing that was missing, and it was good it was good the way it was. But I feel like having that, I know that they were probably worried about Hook getting booed, and they didn't want that because it's Hangman.
True. True.
But I would have liked him just to like shove him away. Like, no, I don't need you.
Well, the next, what's next? Like for Hook, what do we? What
I
do
don't
you
know
think?
because I feel like what they're going for is a triple threat: Hangman, Joe, Swerve. I think that's where they're going for Revolution. It seems like that's where they're going for Revolution.
Absolutely.
Swerve is super over, by the way, because he just stood in the crowd. He didn't do anything.
Literally did nothing. He just stood there and breathed, and it was
Hangman came out and saved Hook. Joe was there looking like a menace. Hook had just had that back, and everyone's chanting for Swerve, and he's just standing there, right? Like
he got
he's
fired.
incredibly over.
He got fired, and so did Joe twice.
So did Joe. Yeah.
So did Taz. Wow, a lot of people in that main event. I'm sorry.
So I don't know what they do with Hook because they have to do something. It worries me a little bit, and I know this happened because of injuries, but like how Orange Cassidy got super hot during his international title feud, and then he had that match with Mox where like Mox beat him, but like, oh, where's he gonna go next? Because he did so well, and then I know Mox got hurt, and they kind of just had to put the belt back on Orange, so like that's not what they planned for. But they didn't really follow up on that. Like now Orange is like cooled down a little bit, and when like Wardlow was super hot, they didn't follow up on that. When he beat MJF, they should have followed up on that. Like, I'm a little bit worried about their follow-up because AEW is in a weird spot where I think we've talked about this before. They have so many belts.
Yeah.
But a lot of them aren't at the right level for people. Like maybe he can go for the international title, but he's like Roderick Strong's already said he's going to the international title. So
I mean, Christian works.
Christian works, yeah.
Hook's dad works
Hook
there.
as a dad. Yeah, that would work.
Oh my god.
That would actually be good. I would like that.
I just thought of that. Yeah.
Taz I would like that.
Legit kill him. Christian would say something, Taz would jump over whatever was in front of him and murder him.
Yeah, I would like that. That's what I want now. I want.
Yeah, I agree.
Christian. That would be good.
Yes.
Actually, winning the TNT title would be good.
Oh, that would be unbelievably good.
I think they need to just kind of quietly have the FTW title disappear.
Now, yeah. At one time, I understand it was their beginner title.
Yeah, it made sense before, but right now, I don't think they need it.
Unless you move it to Ring of Honor, because there's the ROH TV title and the world title, which the world title's kind of it goes hand in hand with the C2.
Yeah, that's a little weird. I still think that's weird, but okay. I'm gonna live with it.
We'll see. I'm gonna real quick. I hate how they said they were gonna. It's the Triple Crown, which means that it would unify the belts, but Eddie defends them all separately. So when somebody doesn't own all three, is there no C2 champion? I don't.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't. They've never really explained it.
Right. So I guess we'll find out when Eddie loses one of these belts.
Yeah.
but anyways, yeah, if they would maybe move the FTW belt to ROH and make it the it sounds like we're disrespecting saying the low end title, not the low end, but like the beginner's title sounds bad too, but the first title, first major title.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
Yeah. And then you'd have 3 belts over there. You'd have the FTW, the TV, and then the World Championship. And then on AEW, you'd have the International, the TNT, and the World. So, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like the Continental title, like crown, doesn't really count. It's like a...
Yeah.
It's really as an AEW belt.
Yeah, because it's... no, I'm with you. Just because it's kind of like it's like an open belt, so like it doesn't even have to be someone from the company that has it. So
right.
So yeah, like I want Hook and Christian to now have a thing.
Now, do you think if at Revolution it's a month and a half now?
Yeah.
Do you think Swerve wins? I mean, it's far out, but do you think Swerve wins?
Yeah, because that would give Joe 90 days, roughly.
It's kind of a short run for Joe, but
yeah,
if anyone can have the short run, I feel like he's okay with it, and it's not going to hurt him.
Yeah, obviously it's not going to hurt Joe, but I mean, if he doesn't win, I mean, if Joe retains, then maybe you could say, well, the only reason, like Swerve could say, oh, well, I didn't have him one-on-one. And then whatever the next pay-per-view is, give them the quote-unquote rematch and make it a one-on-one.
Right.
But, I'll say that to devil's advocate and just to be different.
Because like Swerve is super over, and you kind of, I know Tony Khan likes to plan long term. Maybe he has a plan that Swerve's going to win it, in the summer or something.
Right.
But I feel like at some point you kind of just have to strike while you think someone's hot, and he's hot.
Well, like we just said, like when Dynamite went off the air, he was literally just standing.
Yeah.
And the place was going bananas.
And they did everything to get everybody else over, right? They made Samoa Joe look crazy violent, and it worked. They made Hook look like a super tough guy, and it worked. They made Hangman look like a good guy who was coming out to save people, and that worked. But like, still, the crowd wanted Swerve. It is like Austin level. Remember, it's when Mick Foley turned heel. He had a match after WrestleMania against the New Age Outlaws in the cage, and that's when DX reformed with like X-Pac and everything.
Okay.
At the end of that match, DX beat up Cactus Jack and Terry Funk, like with chairs, and they beat them down, and the crowd was chanting for Austin the whole time. And he used that to turn heel, to be like, oh, well, I was getting beaten up, you chanted for somebody else. Right.
Oh.
But it just reminds me of how over Austin was. He had nothing to do with that segment. And
it was just the crowd chanting.
The crowd just was chanting for it. Like that reminds me of Swerve. Like he wasn't doing anything. And like just him being there made the crowd
was enough. Right.
Yeah.
It's so fun. What a time. Do you have anything else, sir?
No. Jack Perry showed up in New Japan.
Oh, yes.
That was kind of cool. That's not that we need to go in that in depth, but that was cool.
Yeah. And
I mean, it's a work. He's not leaving AEW. He's not actually ripping up his contract.
Yeah.
Like, it's cool that he's there.
I was just going to say it's officially an excursion. So, look what that did for Eddie. I mean, obviously Eddie was a good worker, but Eddie was different. He went to New Japan, won that belt. But other than that, like, he came back a different worker. Jack Perry's going to learn so much. And I like that he's there by himself. They didn't send him there with Kill Switch or, it's like he's doing his thing. He's not there with a group or with which I think he needed, especially after the whole Punk fiasco. I don't want to say the more time he's away, it's better, but let people forget that even happened.
Yeah, if he came back now to AEW, that's all people would like. People would
exactly
CM Punk at him. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and I really hope when he comes back, they actually WWE it and just act like that never even happened.
Yeah, because it wasn't on TV, right? So technically, it doesn't count.
Right.
So yeah,
exactly. Just because I don't want that to stick with him, and that he's known for saying real glass and then fighting Punk. Like, no.
Yeah.
Like,
I know AEW likes to like not only remember things that happen, but they love to like lean into like internet stuff. But you're right. In that case, they should just drop it.
Yeah, it needs to it's dead. It's done. It's in the past. Move.
Yeah, I agree. Is that something AEW could do when we're talking how they have too many people? I mean, there's a contingent online, especially of some New Japan fans and just some fans who just think, oh, this relationship between New Japan and AEW is really one-sided. Like, people keep leaving New Japan and signing with AEW. I don't think AEW is doing anything to encourage that. I think these people probably would have left anyway, and just if AEW didn't exist, they would have been in WWE.
Right.
But is that something that AEW can do? Being like, I know it sounds bad to be like, oh, you give us Will Ospreay and Okada, and you can have Jungle Boy, right? Like, it's not a fair trade. But could they like help them out by sending people over there?
Absolutely. And I think that's in the cards. I mean,
Mox has been there a lot, and apparently he's going after their world title now, so that'll be cool.
See, I didn't even know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, he challenged. I don't remember the name of the New Japan World Champion, but he challenged him at the last show, so that'll be cool.
Incredible.
I think Mox loves it over there. Like, Danielson should be there more often. Like, Claudio is
totally
over there quite a lot. So, yeah, Like that's a good example because the BCC isn't doing much on TV right now in AEW.
Yes.
So
yeah,
have
exactly.
them go to Japan. That's cool.
Oh, man, Danielson probably loved that, huh?
Yeah.
Like it's legit a dojo, so all they do is train and wrestle nonstop.
That's all he wants. Like
Yeah.
him and Moxie are just like, can we wrestle more? And they're like, yeah, go to Japan. They won't let you stop wrestling. You could talk about it 24/7 and no one's gonna tell you to move on.
Renee just calls Brie. Or no, Nikki. I'm sorry. It's Nikki, right?
No, it's Brie. It's Brie.
It is Brie, yeah. And she's like, oh God, they're over there again. They're gonna try to make us move, aren't they?
He just keeps sending me these weird videos of people wrestling. I don't care.
yeah.
I'm trying to sleep.
Yeah, it's also a 12-hour time difference.
And Mox is just like, no, look, I saw this cool move.
Yeah. But you think this will work on Dynamite? John, I don't care.
We have a child, John.
Yes. That kid is going to be, I mean, first off, she's probably already tougher than everybody.
Yeah.
But anybody with Mox's DNA, that kid is going to be, no matter what she does in life, she's going to be awesome at it.
Yes, for sure.
But anyways, any final words, sir?
No, it's been a good time for wrestling.
Oh,
it's been a good last little while for wrestling.
Yeah. Well, I was going to start with this question and I forgot, so I'll ask you at the end. You said you were not necessarily burned out, but a little fatigued. Did this new little pump of adrenaline to the business get you your interest back?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely more excited by it. It's still like there's still a lot of stuff to watch, but like I'm definitely more excited by it because for a while I'd be like, I want to watch Dynamite, but also like, ugh. Not that I didn't like the show. Like never was I
exactly.
The shows aren't good, but it was just like, oh, okay, that's on now. I'll watch it. But like, yeah, now I'm definitely more excited for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, great times. Everybody, thank you again. It's been another great week. So make sure to like, subscribe, share. We're Elite City Pod on all social media. Like I said, we hang out. So hit us up. We'll hit you back. And again, welcome to the new subscribers and listeners. Thank you. It's seriously awesome. Keep it up. And till next week. Later.